Step into the light where the wild ones roam, where the heart speaks loud, calling this place home. We break the rules, we paint the sky, ridiculously you. We were born to fly. Ooh, it's ridiculously you.
Hey, welcome everyone. My name is Julie May. I'm your host of the Ridiculously You podcast. And I'm so excited about our guest today. Athena is a trauma-informed coach, a workplace liberation expert. She helps people escape burnout, reclaim their nervous systems, reclaim their inner voices. She survived a traumatic brain injury, which is something we have in common, and brain surgery and toxic workplaces that nearly broke her spirit. And she survived to come and teach us about nervous system science, music, movement, and some radical honesty to help us get back to ourselves. So, welcome, Athena. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. That was quite the intro. I love it.
Well, you're quite the person, so then you can give a good intro. So, Athena, tell us a little bit more about your story. Like, how did you get into the healing of music and all of these things that you're into now?
I've always been into music. Always, for as long as I can remember. But like I found Rise Against and I found punk music. And my mom was seeing my mom and she had to go to the hospital on the way back from the airport. And so her friend kind of sat me down and was like, "Here's Pennywise. This is punk." And I was like, "Oh, changed
Your
my life."
brain's just like,
And then like Rise Against just saved me. And so Rancid, Rise Against, now the Interrupters, I love them so much. Um just that music saved me. And like I've battled depression, I think the majority of my life. And just when I have music, I've got a place to go, and it would give me, I'm a dancer, so it also
mm.
I would, connect in that way. And it just, that's where I was like, this is awesome. And then you kind of go to a show and you have, you're feeling how you feel, and then you look around and so many other people are feeling the same way, and you're like, wow, okay, this resonates. I'm not alone feeling this, and like you kind of band together, and it's awesome.
So you're a big concert goer then?
I am.
Yeah. What's your favorite concert you've ever been to?
The Interrupters, and they were with this awesome British band called the Skints, which if you don't know them, check them out because they're amazing. And then they were with Flogging Molly. Oh my God. Yeah, Flogging Molly there. I've seen like I started to think seeing them when I was like 13 years old, and I
Uh-huh.
didn't understand like this is ska or this is punk. I was like, it's awesome and I love it. So they were kind of headlining, and how we got there, it was a 2-day trip that we took from Phoenix to Denver, and we had to stop in Durango, Colorado to like car camp because we were really broke. But it was an awesome trip,
I love
and the show
that.
was amazing. And I got to pass the singer a note.
Oh, you
Um,
did?
I watched her read it, and then I also got I got a picture with her. And I got back to the hotel, and I was like, "This show is awesome! Oh my God!" And then she like commented on it, and I was like, "Oh, life made. Okay, I'm good."
Oh, wow. Music is amazing. We've got like two concerts we're going to like next month. I'm a big concert goer too. I'm like, I freaking love music. And I was telling Athena before the show, I used to teach music in elementary school. That was one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. I've always been in kind of an education background, but teaching music was probably my very favorite one because there's something about the healing power of music, and it touches your brain in different ways than so many other modalities can touch your brain. Which, if you're somebody who's a little neurodiverse, or you're somebody with, like you and I, with traumatic brain injury, having something that actually connects to the deeper parts of your brain on like that somatic level makes a giant difference. So, did you get into more the healing power of music before your injury or after, or it's been there your whole life?
It's been there my whole life. When I was in university, I would stage manage, and so I was always lock things up, and I took the bus. That doesn't actually matter. I was the last one out, and so I
Yeah.
would always lock things up, and I was like, well, no one's gonna know if I just stay here and dance for a while in this really big empty studio. And so I would just vent everything out and just turn it up real loud and just dance my everything out because so I went to school for dance production.
Ooh,
So
beautiful.
I was on the production side, but I was like, hey, I'm still a dancer and everyone's left. Might as well. And so it's always been healing for me. And then when I had a brain injury and they were like, look, you're not gonna walk again and you're not, I had it's all motor planning of like, I know what it is up here, but putting it in my body. So I did pretty much every song that you can clap to get my rhythm back.
Mm. So tell me a little bit more about that healing journey with music and dance. And do you want to tell us a little bit more about what happened with your injury?
Yeah. So 12 years ago, me and I was with my then boyfriend and we were visiting my sister's cabin in Utah and we went for an ATV ride and we rolled. And so my head hit the ground and hit his head and we both had brain injuries, but we had very different brain injuries. And so I needed brain surgery. I was in a coma for 2 weeks and they were like, yep, she's not living. Say your goodbyes. And then
Wow.
I woke up. I was supposed to they were gonna trach me, which is when they put that tube in your throat, and I woke up right like minutes before they were gonna do it. And so that
Wild.
was all. And I woke up and I was like, "Hey, I'm on oxygen. What is this?" And then I had broken my arm, but they weren't worried about my arm because I wasn't gonna live. So they were like, "Oh, we'll fix that if she wakes up." And my arm was like in a cast because all the skin had died on it, so it was just bad. And they had like cut that away and said all these injuries and I was like I don't know what's going on and they were like yeah well you're probably not going to walk again, you're going to be wheelchair bound. And I was like okay, no, first of all, no, I'm not. And like I had no idea like the extent of my injuries, but I was like that I don't accept that. And then I was like, okay, well, if I am gonna be in a wheelchair forever, then I'm pushing my wheelchair. So hands off. I'm gonna figure out how to maneuver this thing. And then they had to get the right size for me because I'm really small. I'm really short. And that was the whole thing. But I got a really good nurse that was on my side and was like, "Oh, you're an archer and you're a dancer. Let's do this." And he would get up in the morning and just be like, "All right, come on, let's go, let's go." And I was like, "Yes, okay, awesome." And so I was like, and from just the discipline side of it, of being a dancer, if you tell me, because like I went to a second hospital that was like kind of like hands off, like my sister was in the hospital room the whole time, was hospitalized for 2 months. And so at the first hospital, she was there the whole time. And then the second one, I was in like right off the nurse's station. So they were like, okay, we can go home. But they were like, "Okay, we're gonna pick you up for 7 o'clock for PT," and I was like, "Okay." So I set my alarm for like 6:45, and I got up and I got myself dressed and was like, "Okay, come get me. I'm ready. Please get me out of this room." And they were like, I didn't realize that when they said 7, they meant they'll come and get you and help you dress and because you're a freaking brain injured patient, like they're gonna help you. I didn't know that. I was like, oh no, I gotta be ready at 7. I gotta be good to go. And I was. And so I was able to walk out of the hospital, but they wouldn't let me walk. They were like, you can't do it. So then I wanted theme music and they wouldn't let me do that either. And I was like, fine, okay.
Rude.
Um,
Yeah, so you could have walked out. So by the end of 2 months, you were in walking shape again?
it wasn't pretty walking, but I was walking. It was kind of like a zombie because I would like drag my one of my feet behind me when I got tired.
Uh-huh.
I had to like really focus on like, okay, strike. How do you walk again? I watched a lot of kids walk because it was like I learned how to do it at some point. I don't remember it, but it was a time. And so I got back to kind of walking and running around backstage and getting back to my job. And there was just this like, okay, I was singularly focused on like, I'm going to get out of the hospital and I'm going to get my life back. And then I kind of got home and I was like, now what? We didn't plan for this. We didn't plan for how hard it was going to be to like take care of yourself and like get up and do all the things. And so the music came in a lot, hell, but a lot for that. And then just like getting the rhythm back. And so I listened to so many songs that have clapping in them. Punk songs that have clapping in them, like lots of Red Hot Chili Peppers for that. But
Yeah.
I did it, and I went out with my friends and I lived in Vegas, and so all my friends were in bands and um, like jazz bands and stuff. And there was a cover band, and I went with my friend, and she's like, "Well, what's with the cane?" And I was like, "Well, I can't walk." And she goes, "Come here." And so she like took my hands and she was like, "Okay, you're gonna dance with me." And so we were doing just like a salsa, and I was like, I don't know how to find the one.
Mm.
My body can't do this. And it literally was like step, 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 step. But she helped me do it and helped me get back to it and find that rhythm again. So it was a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers. A lot of chili peppers.
Red Hot Chili Peppers came in to save the day. You did not know that that was going to be happening for you, right? Too fun. So tell me a little bit about your life now. How's your movement now?
It's pretty good. There are some things that I can't do, but I'm like, it's just because that hasn't come up yet. So I haven't taught myself how to do that. But now I'm in a place where you wouldn't know I had a brain injury unless I told you.
That's insane. And they thought you were going to die and you'd never walk again, and here you are out doing the things. So that's so stinking cool. So when you work with other people, how do you help them through music?
I help them create playlists. So when you're stuck in a job and you're like, this, or just, this situation sucks, I really don't want to be. Okay, well, how do you want to feel? Okay, let's
Hmm.
play music for that. And then you also have to have a good like end of your shift song that you can just, turn up and mind transfer, sometimes it's Rancid Turn in Your Badge, but Smashing Pumpkins is a really great one. Bullet with Butterfly Wings.
Mm.
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage. That one resonates with a lot of different people.
So you
So we
help
need
people get through their workday with music, but then I noticed you also said that you help people maybe get out of their jobs when it is not the place for them, when it's, a little bit of a toxic workplace. We get into overwhelm, we get into those places where you're like, I cannot go into work one more freaking day in my life. Tell me how that came into your life.
that came into my life with the last with the last job that I worked at.
Mm,
So I quit for a while and I was trying to, get my coaching off the ground and figure out what I was gonna do, and then like things happened and I had to go back to work. But that last job, I was work from home, customer service, and I was in like retention, so I'd worked my way up, and it was during the pandemic, and so I found a job and I was like, okay, great, I need a job. I'm living on my own, like my relationship had fallen apart, like something's got to happen. So I was working this job and I was really in my head of like, oh no, no one else is gonna pay me as much. I have to keep this job. And I just let it kind of really make me question who I was.
mm,
And lots of like lots of bad thoughts, lots of self-harm thoughts. Just I had this moment. I mean, I had a moment where I stood up and I was so overwhelmed. And I took my keyboard and I smashed it against the floor. And I was like, what are you doing? This isn't good. Like, no, you can't smash things against the floor. Like, no, we're not doing this. And just had this moment of like, you have been through so much. Are you really gonna, is this really the hill you're dying on? Literally? No, we're not doing that. And so I decided, um, Mabon of 2022, I think, which Mabon is the fall equinox. It's always like really important to me So I did a glass walk and I did it with my yoga teacher and I was like, hey, I have this crazy idea. I'm gonna be a wellness coach. So learning how to walk and how to do all that again, and I was like, I really like physical therapy and
Yeah.
it's really important and I really want to I'm a dancer and I want to teach this to other people. Don't, don't take it for granted. Don't take what your mobility for granted until, like I have never run. I'm not a runner. I'm a dancer. I did rock climbing. I hike, but I don't run. And I never wanted to run a marathon until I couldn't walk.
Mm.
And then I got over that after I learned how to walk again. I was like, okay, we're good. We don't need to run marathons. We're still
We're
not a
not crazy here. We don't need
yeah,
to run a marathon.
we're still not a runner. But I just wanted to teach, and I was like, I want to be a wellness coach. And she got on board with me and was like, that's fantastic. And so I went to this like session with my now mentor, and I was like, hey, well, I can't afford you right now, so but maybe we'll work together. And a couple like in 2023, she hit me up and she was like, hey, I'm starting a program for coaches, and I know that you wanted to be a coach. Like, I'll teach you how to do it. Do you want to do this? And I was like, well, yeah. And so we figured out the financial bit of it, and they helped me kind of do it, and we kind of realized like just help people quit their jobs. You're
Mm.
miserable. Help people quit their jobs. Because once I learned about the trauma and like the nervous system healing, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh, I'm stuck in fight or flight because people are yelling at me all day, and like that's not good. So wow, and it was like I had all the answers. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, I get it now. And I was like, so I just wanted to teach people how to do that. And then I can't tell you what job that was, but it was it's a very well-known company that I was like, oh, this is really bad. Like I cannot do this. So I quit in September of 2024. And then I went back to work in May and I write about it. That's it's that this job is even more toxic for different reasons. But I do write about my experience in this job in my field reports that I publish on Sundays.
Oh, that's cool. Where can they find your field reports?
They can find them on my website, or they can find them on Substack.
And what's your website?
My website is beacons.ai/leaning into Luna.
Hmm.
One day I'll have a website when I figure out what I want to call it. Um, or you can find me on Substack at Leaning into Luna.
Love that. Okay. You ready for lightning round? We're going to do a whole bunch of
Let
really quick questions.
go.
Okay. What's your favorite song to dance to?
As we live.
Okay. Beautiful. Uh, Tell me something that makes you feel beautiful.
Rain on my face when I'm driving.
Love that.
Windows down.
What's one thing you do for your nervous system that people wouldn't expect?
Um, I hum.
Mm, love that. What's your idea of a fun night?
Walking, kind of like a bar hopping, but with bookstores.
Bar hopping with the we need that. Like, where's that place? Like, if you go to Nashville or something, there's like bar with like music. We need like bookstore. We
Mhm.
need like somebody to make that. That would be cool.
Like bookstore, record shops, and like comic book stores. Like let's have a bar hop, but for that.
Yes, let's do that. What's your favorite place you've ever been?
Durango, Colorado.
Yeah, tell me why.
It was gorgeous. It was so gorgeous. I've grown up and I've lived in Vegas for 20 years, and now I'm in Arizona. So I'm like I'm used to mountains. And then we drove to Denver and we were like, oh, we have hills. These are mountains.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
was just so gorgeous, and everything was just beautiful there. And it was an education that nature is always healing.
So true. Okay, well, they know where to find you and get to your website. If you had one more message for our audience, what would it be?
That your paycheck should never cost your mental health.
Mm,
So don't do it. Don't give in because you think that you need this paycheck, you will figure it out. But your life is worth way more than a paycheck.
your life is definitely worth way more than a paycheck. If somebody is sitting out there and they're like stuck in one of those jobs, and it's like I call it the golden handcuffs. It's like it pays well, and they're like, "What the hell am I gonna do?" Because it's basically killing me. We know that their mental health isn't worth it, but like one additional tip you would give them for like how to get out of the situation, because that's what I call it. I call it the golden handcuffs, because it's like it pays so well, you're not sure what's on the other side, but it's literally feels like you're gonna die in there.
Talk to someone, talk to me, talk to somebody, but don't die, don't suffer alone, don't suffer quietly, and go find a really good song and turn it up real loud.
Mm, I know music has helped me through so many things. I'm a big fan of Disturbed. Do you know Disturbed? I like they have a song called The Light. That's like my song when I'm having like one of those shitty days. So when we play this later, I want you guys to throw in the comments and stuff what your favorite song to get through those like days where you're like, I'm having a day today. What is your favorite song to do that? And with that, we're going to wrap up. This has been Julie May with Ridiculously You podcast with my guest Athena today. And I'm excited to share so much more with you guys. And with that, we'll talk to you later.
Share the spark, take it higher. Hit subscribe, bring a friend. Let the wildness never end. Tap in, stand true. This is your